Hi everybody, welcome to my channel about coaching. Today we have a special guest, Manisha Timothy. She's a psychologist and life coach. Manisha, can you tell our viewers today please a little bit more about yourself and where you are based?
Hi, Amy. First of all, thank you so much for inviting me to your show. I feel completely delighted to be here today. My name is Manisha Timothy, and I'm a psychologist and a life coach, an emotional intelligence practitioner, and a neuro linguistic practitioner as well. Currently, I'm based in Dubai and run my own coaching practice that goes by the name of Dream Catalyst Life Coaching.
How did you get into psychology and life coaching?
Amy, I find that human beings are the most amazing, complex, and intriguing creatures that God has ever made. Of course, God made us intelligent, but also uniquely designed us to react differently to the same situation, which, in other words, is the psyche of the person. As I started studying psychology, the science behind this unique psyche continued to amaze me immensely. I started studying human behavior closely in light of my newly acquired knowledge, which led me further to life coaching. And I personally believe that life coaching is an amazing platform which uses various sciences and techniques to help enhance our lives further.
Can you tell our audience why not to use the word no and what are the positives of this?
Before I answer this question directly, I wanted to reference a movie called Yesterday. The basic premise of this movie is of the parents who agreeing to say only yes to their kids' demands for an entire day, of course, with rules thrown in. That to me highlights the frustration and negativity that builds in a child's mind by the subconscious overuse of the word no. Nobody likes the word no, especially children and adolescents. No means disappointment. No means not getting what you want, and that's frustrating and disappointing for everyone. In psychology, actually, we refer to this as oppositional defiant disorder or ODD. By constantly listening to no, oppositional defiant disorder is a condition in which a child displays argumentative behavior towards people in authority. For many of these kids, ODD becomes a way of reacting to authority. So, as parents, I always advise do not overuse the word no. When we stop using the word no, it brings in a lot of positive changes in regards to your child's self esteem, the positive outlook, and also the feeling of being loved by his or her parents.
Yes, I completely agree with you. And as I have told you, it does make a difference with my kids as well. Do you think that this strategy is applicable only to kids, or does it work with grown-ups and adults as well in other situations?
Oh, yes, it definitely works with adults. Some of the recent studies done by behavioral specialists focused on psychology of words demonstrates that when we say or hear, what we say or hear affects us deeply on an emotional level and is capable of describing us to extraordinary detail. So words like no and other negative words are not taken in positively by our brain, and it also arouses a feeling of resentment and rebellion. I would say, think of our teenage years when your crush said no to your proposal. How heartbroken and depressed you would have felt. The rejection made you feel unworthy of yourself. But instead of no, if your crush would have said, "You're a good person to be with, but unfortunately, I'm not ready to date you at this moment," the impact would have been more positive than negative. As a coach, whenever I deal with couples, I always encourage them that whenever they get into a discussion or argument, to use better words than saying no. For example, you could say, "Let's sit down and discuss about it," or "Do you think it is the right time to do it?" or "I understand why you are asking for it, but I have a different perspective to it. If I can express my views, all these things, all these phrases, they bring in a lot of positivity in relationship, whether marital or family. You see, the word no is like an abrupt door shut on your face. So instead, try using other positive approaches which work well in dealing with difficult conversations and in most interpersonal relationships.
And can you suggest some alternative words we can use instead of the word no?
Oh, yes, there can be positive words, phrases, or even actions instead of using the word no. For example, sometimes agree with your child. If your child throws a tantrum for an ice cream before dinner, agree to him or her and say, yes, we can have an ice cream, but not right now, later. When you're tempted to say no, I would recommend ask yourself if what your child is doing is really that bad for him or her. Try to keep no for things that affect their safety or well being. You could also use your feelings instead to express yourself. For example, if your spouse or family member shouts at you, you can say, it hurts my ears and makes me sad when you shout at me. This way, you're conveying the message but also teaching them to be empathetic. We can also try to set the tone to the communication by using polite words or softer tone even in the most difficult conversations. More often it is seen that the people, they kind of replicate your tone when they're in a conversation. So by doing this, you are unconsciously telling them to be polite in a conversation.
Great insights to help strengthen our personal relationships. And do you think this works well in other relationships also?
Yes, other than family or close personal relationships, it also works in your work environment as well. Many of my clients who are working professionals find it hard to deal with their teams and co-workers. Many a times in professional life, using word no leads to demotivation of employees. But when things are set in an alternative, positive way, it helps increase productivity and work and also brings in a feeling of self worth and confidence among team members and colleagues. I'll just give you an example in this. Like, suppose you're in a team meeting, instead of rejecting an idea outright, you could appreciate it and say things like, let's keep that up our sleeve, or great idea, we can use that later, or even maybe we need a different approach over here. Also, in case of educators, avoiding using the word no with students can highly impact their growth and development. Using positive words and approach with student educators can stimulate the students to come up with out of box and innovative ideas.
Manisha, in your opinion, should we never say the word no? And do you advise it to everyone in every situation? What are the exclusions from this rule?
No, that is not what I'm saying. See, I just said no. But jokes aside, I think it brings out a very strong facet of the word no. No is a hard stop, a line that should not be crossed, and a firm expression of our desire to disengage immediately. If there is a threat to your morals and ethics, a firm no should be used just as it is intended to be.
I agree. A mother has every right to protect her child and just say no if she sees danger. Thank you for your talk so much, Manisha. I think that you gave us so many interesting things to take with us from this conversation.
Thank you, Amy, once again for having me over. It is an honor and truly humbling when I get invited by an amazing coach like you to your platform. I hope our conversations are beneficial to everyone who listens to it. Thank you.
And I hope you all enjoyed it.